Okay, so we are live here, and yeah, this is my first live video, but I thought it would be cool to kind of run through some of my editing techniques and what I do behind the computer here. So this is a project I work on with my girlfriend Camille. We went to Morocco last year, and she had this beautiful idea to tell a story through a little boy's eyes. So I'll just give you a quick example how the project is going so far. I just started editing it, but yeah, it's kind of like behind the lines of this little boy is running an errand for his family, his mom in particular, and he sees all the heavy-handedness in life. So let's just take a little watch, and then we can get more into how I set up my Premiere Pro project and how I edit. So here is an example. So that's kind of what we're working with right now. But the main thing I want to go through is my project setup. So as you can see over here on the left, I have a bunch of different folders. So we got footage, sequences, music, graphics, and different assets, and then some different light leaks and that type of stuff, which will go into assets. But so the footage, I sort everything out by camera, and that goes as far as just like everything I shot in the A7S II is right here. I rename it, and we can go through that process, but renaming it's really important for later, a couple years down the line, when everything's named C0001. You don't know where it's from. So just kind of have like what the trip was, which travel, the camera, the location, and then which camera it actually was. So this was the Ninja A7S II camera, and yeah, so I have that for A7S II, and then I have some audio, which is just different snippets from the streets of Marrakesh. And then I have the FS5, I have 2 reels of that, and then I have the drone, which is just different scenics from around the city, but also stuff from the desert and the ocean. But yeah, so I have everything lined up in footage, everything's imported, and then the next thing I do is make my selects racks. So that goes as far as, it's super easy. You just put everything from the footage folder into a selects sequence, and this is literally the whole thing laid out. So I will watch through this all you know, clip by clip, and you're like, ooh, that's kind of like a pretty moment right there. So Control K to cut, go backwards, find the in point, and then Control K again to cut the in, and then if you do Alt and up, it brings it up a level. And so that's kind of like what we call top lining, where everything right here is kind of the selects that you want to watch, or that I would want to watch. So you go through, you're like, ooh, that's really beautiful, that turn is great. And there's just different methods. So like this sequence I really want to work on today is once the boy sees this temptation for the last time, he realizes that she's actually trying to show her a good thing. Whole sequence right here. So right here is where like the beauty will come in, where before it was a little bit grim and not really focused. So I do see a couple moments here that could be, this edit is very music based. So since the edit is very music based, I think we could, it's the transition, this transition is a little harsh with the light, so I think we can Y and get him a little bit more in the dark. Just go back. So cut on the beat. Again, I think this could just be a little bit more in the dark right here. And I also think a little bit of a time ramp will help get to the next shot, since it's kind of like it's a bunch of jump cuts right now. But I think we could put a little time ramp in there, make it a little bit longer, go up to about 300. And because it's such a quick turnaround, it's only a couple frames, we can actually make it pretty quick of a time ramp. Here and kind of adjust, because I screwed it up a little bit, but so really what I'm looking for right now is just like getting the boy into the light so it matches. So it's a little bit shaky, obviously, because it was all handheld, but we can bring it down just a little bit so it's not as fast. You can bring it over, and the biggest thing we need to do, we just want it to match, like it's coming up to his head and then it's like almost there, but the biggest thing is we'll probably warp stabilize this a little bit. So if we go to reveal in project, we can copy the clip name, and I always like to do this when I nest a sequence, which you have to do when you're stabilizing. So nest it, like get the framing you want, nest it, and then go to effects, warp stabilize, move the warp stabilize in there. And I don't like to go above like 15% when I'm stabilizing, but I think we're going to try this one at 6. and just kind of see what happens. So we'll let it stabilize. Save the project. But the biggest, like, I just want this whole thing to flow really well, so I think once we get this stabilized, it will work a lot better where it won't be as jumpy. But it's maybe like, don't really like it as much as I thought. So we're gonna go back a little bit. I think it could be a little bit more like kind of pauses on him a little bit too much at the top. So that's where I think we want to stop it there. So we'll give it a little bit more heads on the front. Sooner. It's all just experimenting with what works. So, boom, boom. But yeah, I hope the playback is good, and so we're gonna just keep moving this over a little bit. Okay, I like how that looks. So we're gonna reveal on project again. Not really working, but I think if we nest this sequence, because it's the same one as before, go to effects, orb stabilize, and let's do 3% this time because I like a little bit of the shake. And then I think this one we should turn up, so I want it to be a little bit faster. I think it's a little slow compared to like where we're going from this time ramp into the next clip. So if you do Control R, let's make it like 250 and see what happens, but it might be a little bit too fast. Yep, that ball is bouncing a little too fast, so let's do 215. A little bit slower still, I think 175, 180. Okay, so the beauty of having the sequences on top of each other, which I love so much, is that we get to the scene where it's all about the beauty, which we talked about at the beginning. So, you know, I have these sequences, this sequence down here that is from a shoot I did with Cliff Bar, and it's just like beautiful moments of people picking different fruit, and that's what I want. It's just like the sunflower shot right here could go perfect. So to have the sequence below, you can watch your selects and you're like, ooh, I like that shot. Okay, so where is it going to fit? so that's the out point because it's on the beat. And then you can zoom in a little bit. And I like starting here, so you can Control K, and then let's just see how that fits in there. And it honestly fits like almost perfectly, but we'll cut it right there because that's where the out is on the beat. But oh, and then the biggest thing is the sequence was 1920 by 1080, so now we got to change how big it is. It was filmed in 4K, but so that's the in, go out, go back to the main sequence, and then we need to, so pretty much what we need to do is click on the nested sequence, drag the clip over, place it in, and then make this 100% because that's what it should be, and then bring everything back in the room. So that's just like a little workaround where I created an edit that was 1920 by 1080. It was being delivered in HD, but this is the 4K sequence, so I had to unnest it. And I actually don't even think it needs to stabilize, so we won't nest it. But so now the temptress, the lady, is showing the boy the beauty of life. So it's a beauty shot, and then so we need a couple more, obviously, because there's only a couple of shots. Like this is from Mongolia, this is from Morocco, this is from Mongolia. But we're gonna go back to the selects, which is right below here in this sequence, and figure out what we need. So we're gonna watch through. It's like, that's a beautiful shot. Zoom in, and then Control K to make an out, Alt up, and then that's our first top line. This is also a nice shot. I really like that beginning part. Control K it, so we like that, so select it, and then Alt up. I like that shot a lot, but I think if you press Y, you can click on a clip and you can scrub through the whole thing. And I like when the water starts, you can see on the left frame, the water starts on the left and it starts to go right. And that's kind of the out. Right, so right there. So it starts left to right, and we can watch it and make sure we like, yeah, that's perfect. So Alt up will top line that one. So through this process we'll have a bunch of top lines. This clip is nice, but it's a little wide. I do really like that little moment at the end there. So we'll watch that through. This one's not that great. We're gonna top line that guy. Like this shot, but it's a little wide, and I think the other watering shot was much better. Just pull in some puppetry. I like that moment. So we'll Control K, go backwards, Control K, top line it. There's a bunch of shots of different food, but I don't. Oh, I really do like this one. This is great because it's like just a hand. There's nothing else in the way of it. And here we can, in there. That's just like a very quick sequence, and I love the shot of the hands. So we're gonna in there, and I think we'll use that whole clip at some point. Little girl walking I really do like, but don't know if it's gonna work. And then this guy with the, and here are just like moments which are all pretty usable. So we'll top line both of those just to have them. I'm not totally sure if we'll use them. So now we have our top lines, and this is where we're gonna put in the beauty. So I think after the flowers, you know, we can off put this so we don't select anything and we just go to the selects. I think after the flowers would be nice to go to something. I really love this hand shot, so I think we're gonna go there. So all we have to do is literally drag it up. There's no like looking through your other. I just can't stand going into, you know, the footage and double clicking on it and making it like this, and I just can't stand having to go through it this way. I just love the select. So I love having the sequences ready, and all you have to do, you know, you got all the selects. You're like, I love this shot. That's a great shot. We're gonna use that at some point. But let's see how it works in the edit. And again, this shot was 1920 by 1080, so just up to 100. And then, you know, I think this needs to be brought in so she actually grabs the fruit. And then this one is a little bit wobbly. It's a drone shot, so again I'm going to reveal in project, and then we're just going to nest it and give it a little bit of a stabilization. But again, like I said, you don't want to do 50%. You want to do, let's do 3 for this one. And then I think after the water, we go into some fish. And like, I like the idea of having it breathe, so after the temp, just bring the boy in. Just 2 quick cuts, breathe, And then let's make this one a little bit quicker. So we're gonna get the action. And then out. And then let's see what I don't mind this shot. I think it could come in right here and end there. Control K will bring it up, but it needs to be faster, so I think we could do 145, nest that, give it a little stabilization because it will need it. Let's do 8%. So yeah, I apologize for any weird things in this first stream, but it's the first one I've done. We can enjoy it together. Let's make this a little bit quicker. Let's do 215. So I'm just trying to build off the music and what's happening there. So that's why I'm cutting this all a little bit short. So we're gonna have to take a little bit of a break because I want to analyze all this stuff that was warp stabilized so it plays a little bit better. But yeah, just another breakdown here is the project, and obviously sequences, the selects are the biggest part to me, and then we have all the edits which I just label VO1 to whatever. So this VO7 that you can see right here, me and Camille watched it and made a bunch of notes about it, and now I've made 2 different versions after that, and 8.2 is the one I'm working on, where we're just trying to add this happy moment. And then below that I have different music tracks, but we kind of just like stumbled upon this one that we really like, and below that's different graphics things or assets, which are most of the nested clips and graphics that we'll put in later, but we don't need those. Yeah, kind of the layout. If you want to keep watching, it's just gonna be a little bit of time to render this stuff out, but after that it'll be pretty good. So we got this clip, and then obviously just like always trying to cut on the beat, and then later in the edit I will go through and make sure it's exactly on the beat, so go frame by frame and listen in the headphones. But as far as just like the main, you don't want to get too technical, and like I honestly is. So that works pretty well. You know, I think there should be something right here. I'm not totally positive what, but we can go to the selects of the different moments and see if there's, and then we just want a little bit of movement a little bit of movement from the left to the right. And I think that's what we need. So we're gonna 100, and then nest this one. Stabilize. We'll just do 3% on that. So once this is done warping, we will render in and out and kind of watch. And I think this warp could be 18%. So the cool part about this is, like, I think the warp starts a little bit too early. I think it'd start right there, because that's where the beat is about to make another brain. So double click on it, make this bigger, and then we will move the in of the ramp right at, and then we'll make this a little bit quicker. So with that, we'll have to re-stabilize, obviously, but that's fine, because I think it will work a lot better with the whole sequence here. So just kind of wait a couple of seconds, we'll rewatch it. But yeah, and then there's a lot of different effects and things that I will use, but I try to keep the project folders all organized. It's super easy, and then you just know where everything is, all the footage, you know, the selects. I want to go video, and then the edits. But so here we go. So yeah, I like that a lot, how it kind of it's not a fluid shot, but it gets the point across a little bit better than just how it cuts into action. Yeah. And then it's just the beauty. I think the hands could come in a little bit sooner. And so this is the thing about the nested sequence, is if the clip in the nest isn't long enough, you can't expand it. So double click on the nest, go to the beginning, and just make this a little bit longer. It out, but yeah, I need to make this longer. I think it needs to come in a little bit sooner. We could also try to put in this walking shot. I don't know if it's really gonna work, but let's make it 100. I do like that. So It's always nice to alt down and make everything, once you're happy with it, on the same line. It just takes away a lot of processing power. And we gotta reanalyze this because we made it longer, so we'll do that, and then we're gonna render this sequence. So hopefully this helps a little bit. I'm not sure. Give me feedback if you want some other input or ideas. But we're just gonna make, I'll do in here, out here. We'll render in and out. See how long this is gonna take. Too long. But yeah, I like the technique a lot. I think it's better than going into the project and you just have the cameras, and you can make different notes in these selects of what they actually are. But since this is such a small project, I understand what is in each reel and on each camera. So let's watch what we just did. And obviously the color is a little off. Some of them were colored previously, so they have a little bit more saturation than we would all like, but you know, we'll get some of that. But it's kind of an idea of how I use Premiere and the layout. Obviously the effects and the source is small. My program over here on the right is a little bit bigger, and then you got the selects on the bottom, the main sequence on the top, and try to just keep everything a little organized. Obviously when there's clips I don't like, I'll put them on the very, very top line, so I know, I'm like, you know, I don't like that one, put it way up there, so I know kind of what the idea of the sequence is, but I know I don't like it. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll give you some more soon. Cheers.